Sonora, a vast open territory in northern Mexico, defined by rugged mountain ranges, unforgiving deserts, and the peaceful Sea of Cortez. But down in the valley, a gift from the culinary gods. Here, conditions are just right to grow and harvest miles and miles of the region's most identifiable crop, Sonoran wheat. The flour produced from these wheat fields has completely shaped the food of northern Mexico.
Delicioso!
And that iconic wheat flour is inspiration for my take on two classic recipes. This, though, is
It's so delicious.
Sonora's absolute favorite pan dulce. These light, crisp, flaky, sweet coyotas. And a hearty, savory, super satisfying chile con carne, wrapped in a flour tortilla, served with the tastiest refried beans. I know one boy who's going to be so happy.
This is probably the best burrito I've ever had.
Dame tu chocolate, dame café caliente, dame tu corazón.
Sonora is one of the biggest states in all of Mexico. Despite its size, there are some defining qualities that all Sonorans take pride in. I'm in the capital, Hermosillo.
So I'm here with two gorgeous women.
Ask a couple of Sonoran friends to meet and talk about their home state. And that pride comes through right away.
How would you describe the personality of people here?
Strong, really strong
Brave.
people, brave.
It's a state that is so big, the people are not all living together. It's desertic, and so we're all kind of apart from each other, so you can become stronger.
For me, the identity of a place is always so intimately connected to food.
Uy, qué rico! Oh, this is so ridiculous. Look at this.
And on every Sonoran table, it's easy to find a common theme.
So we have the bread, we have the tortilla, we have tamal, and all of these has a foundation of harina. I know people here are very proud about their Sonoran wheat, right?
Wherever you go, you're not gonna find the flour tortilla that you find here.
This is familiar territory for Louisa, whose family owns one of the oldest flour mills here in Hermosillo.
Where does this passion and love for wheat flour and wheat flour tortillas come from? Like, how old is that?
Sonora is one of the biggest producers of wheat. Wheat is part of our history. People start learning to make tortillas since they're 8 years old, 10 years old.
Something that connects all the people from Sonora, no matter
their social status or whatever.
Or just something that binds the communities together.
Exactly.
When we travel, we bring tortillas.
Oh, yeah.
It's part of the gift that we bring to people that are receiving us, and, ¿cómo se dice? Presumirlas.
Brag about them.
We love to brag about them.
Our Sonoran pride.
Luisa's family has operated this flour mill in the heart of Hermosillo for 3 generations.
Whoa. Oye, wow, eso sí está impresionante.
Flour mills and the business of wheat have been the beating heart of the Sonoran economy for over 150 years.
I'm obsessed with history and with going back. So your grandfather started this?
Yeah, in 1935 he started. He was only 33 years old. You can see the machines, some of them are from 1890.
Luisa's family mill is like a time capsule to the early days of industrialization.
I want to have a picnic here. This is so cool.
But there have been some updates.
Each one of these silos has a capacity of 3,500 tons. We only buy wheat once a year.
Wheat from all over Sonora comes in on these trucks.
Wow.
And we wanted to make sure you could see it.
Pobre Kevin.
So our camera guy, Kevin, made sure to get this shot for you.
I'm so sorry, Kevin. You had to do that. New Kevin portrait.
Now, inside the factory, there's a lot of high-tech stuff. tools and control panels and widgets and gadgets and important looking buttons. It's all a little dizzying. I don't know how it all works. What I can tell you is that over 7 floors and many stages, the wheat is ground finer and finer and finer until in the end, you're left with pure, magical, white Sonoran flour. This flour has shaped the culinary traditions of Sonora for hundreds of years. And just a few blocks away from Louisa's family flour mill, you'll find one of the sweetest examples of just that at Doña Coyo's bakery, where the specialty is this light, flaky, sugary, breaded pastry called la coyota, another source of Sonoran pride.
Here we have Jorge, who has many nicknames, including El Chango, El Tripas. ¿Qué más?
Tarzán, el güero acamaronado, el pecoso.
¿Cuántos apodos tiene?
Un montón.
Entonces, a ver, ¿cuántas hacen en un día?
Como unas 2,000.
2,000 a day. ¿Y cuántos años lleva usted haciendo coyotas?
Álgame poquito. Voy empezando.
50, más de 50.
53 años.
53 years making coyotas?
Así es.
Oiga, ¿y usted come coyotas? ¿Le gustan las coyotas?
Claro que de lo que por supuestamente que no.
Enséñeme cuál es la técnica.
Quema, no quema.
¿Qué hago?
Levantarla.
Ok.
Para atrás, pero no
Así
ponga la
se-
mano dura porque se engarrota el tubo y se le cae la charola.
Ok.
Con el brazo suelto.
Ok.
Ya.
Hay que balancear.
Pero
It's a
no.
super balancing act. ¿Y ahora qué voy? Está pesada. ¿Puedo acercarme
Agarre la
otro
charola
poquito
con la
más?
mano así.
No, qué Y luego, aquí, ok.
Ese es el chiste.
Uy, this is still hot. This is a piloncillo coyota. And it's her favorite. Es su favorita también. Uy. Oh, you can hear it crackles. Como que quiebra, so it's nice and... El piloncillo adentro. ¡Qué rico!
No, y aunque coma de todas maneras. Con el turbia. Vamos a
Super
ver.
flaky.
Vamos a ver tan buena.
¡Qué riquísimas!
La hacemos con amor.
Mira, look at this. It's such a delight because it's so flaky and airy. It's a little bit chewy. A little bit rustic tasting. A little bit tangy. It's so delicious. Gracias, qué rico. Thank you.
I absolutely fell in love with coyotas, and I wanted to perfect my own recipe to bring it to you. So after many trials and tribulations, I think I've got it just right.
So in order to make the coyotas, we need to make the dough. And to make the dough, I'm going to start with the starter. So I'm going to add 1/2 cup of lukewarm water. So I have here 1 tablespoon of active yeast. We need to make the yeast wake up and become alive. And in order to do that, we're going to mix it with the lukewarm water and with a tablespoon of piloncillo. Piloncillo is the base of the coyota, practically. It goes in the dough and it goes in the filling. And piloncillo, which is the purest form of cane sugar syrup, it has a delicious rustic taste, but it's so yummy and so sweet that it helps the yeast become alive. We have to feed the yeast, and yeast loves feeding on sugar and also on flour. So in order to make these be really effective and bubbly and foamy, I'm adding flour. It's going to help the yeast react, get really hungry, feed on it, and foams. And it's already smelling like it's reacting. I'm going to cover it and I'm going to put it in a place in my kitchen that's nice and warm, and it's gonna rise. So I'm going to start my carne con chile. And carne con chile is one of the most emblematic dishes of the state of Sonora. So I have 6 pounds of brisket right here with the fat on. I do want to keep some of the fat because it's going to add a lot of flavor, but we don't want that much fat that is super, super greasy. So So I'm just removing like 60% of the fat. Carne con chile is one of those stews that you can make a big batch of and then either refrigerate or freeze and then continue to repurpose in many ways, and you don't get bored. Because you can have it in burritos one day, and then a couple days later you can have it in sincronizadas or quesadillas or with scrambled eggs. Later on, when we make the sauce for the carne con chile, we're going to make a roux, and you could use beef lard, which is this beef fat, or vegetable oil or vegetable shortening. But in Sonora, they use a lot of beef lard, and it has a very different taste. It's rich, it's deep. So I'm cutting about 2-inch pieces. We have the 6 pounds of brisket that I cut into pieces, and I'm going to add half of a white onion. And then we're gonna add 5 garlic cloves that I already peeled, half a teaspoon of black peppercorns, they're whole, 2 to 3 bay leaves, I have 2 here. And then I'm gonna add 1 really generous tablespoon of salt. Then we bring this to a boil. You remove most of the foam that you can from the top, as you should with every caldo de res or caldo de pollo. Then you cover it and you let it simmer for 1.5 hours to 2 hours, or until the meat is very soft and you can pull it apart very easily with your hands. So we have the starter. Come, I'll show you. The starter, first of all, it smells really, really nice. It smells very yeasty. It smells very different. Come, I'll show you something else. You see the little bubbles? So it bubbled up, and then look at how thick it got. So it got foamy, it got bubbly. So that means we have a yeast starter, and the yeast was feeding on the sugar and the flour, and it is ready to go. And I have my mixer with the hook attachment, which is this one, not the paddle attachment. And I'm going to add 1/4 cup of water, 3 cups of flour. I'm adding 1 cup of softened at room temperature unsalted butter, 1/2 teaspoon salt. You always want to start with slow so that the flour doesn't go everywhere. And then I'm going to beat these for about 5 to 6 minutes until the dough comes together in a ball. You're going to see. I'll show you. So you know your coyota dough is ready when the dough gathers into a ball all by itself around the hook. Then I'm cutting these dough into 3 pieces just to make the rationing of the dough easier for me, because each one of these 3 pieces I'm going to cut into 8 pieces to make 8 balls. This dough is super soft. See? It's so delicious. It's soft and springy and elastic and just a pleasure to roll. And we're just gonna roll them, and I'm gonna place them on this already buttered baking sheet. I thought I needed 2 baking sheets. You only need 1. I'm gonna cover them, and I'm gonna put them back there in that cozy space in my kitchen, and they're gonna rest for about 2 hours. And this rest is really fundamental to getting the coyotas that you want. I have my meat and it's cooling, and as it cools, I'm going to make the seasoning sauce for the carne con chile. Here I have some water that I'm already heating, and I'm going to add 2 ripe Roma tomatoes, 2 garlic cloves, and then I'm gonna add 12 chiles colorados. Chile colorado is the dried chile. Okay, it's one of the dried chiles of choice of the Sonora, Arizona region. And Sonorans absolutely love it, to the point that they will get the chile colorado from specific regions, because depending on where the chile colorado comes from in the region, the tastes vary. I remove the stem. You do want to remove the seeds. They're a little bit bitter. I'm adding 12, and it is not a lot. You know why? Because carne con chile translates to meat with chile. So it should have a lot of chiles. Now I'm gonna let these cook for like 8 or so minutes. And meanwhile, I'm gonna strain my meat and my broth. You can see a little bit of the fat, which is essential because it has a lot of flavor. You want the meat to cook until you touch it and it falls apart. So I'm adding 2 tomatoes that cooked in here that are, as you know, super, super, super soft and mushy, and the skin started breaking apart. And then I'm going to add all of these chiles colorados that rehydrated and are plump and fleshy and meaty. So I have the 2 garlic cloves, and then 1/4 of a piece of a white onion. We have the chile de árbol. That's gonna give it some heat and some smoky taste. Removing the stem, but I'm not removing the seeds. You don't need to. And then we're adding chiltepín. And the chiltepín packs a punch not only in heat, like the chile de árbol, but in terms of taste. So I'm adding, this is like 10 chiltepín chiles. And then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then I'm going to add 1/2 cup of the cooking liquid. And you can see the really pretty color. Then we're gonna puree these until completely smooth. Carne con chile sauce. It is so colorful. Just look at that. And I wish you could smell. It just smells like Sonora, Arizona. So I have the same pot where I made the caldo de res, and I have it over medium-high heat. And I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Now we're gonna make a roux, which is a paste or a mixture that you make by combining fat with flour. And this is so untraditional to Mexican cooking, to make a stew or a guisado with the base of a roux, but this just speaks to how important flour is to the state of Sonora and how much convergence there is between US and Mexico in that border region, which I find fascinating. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of flour. If I want this roux to add a lot of flavor, I need to let it brown and darken. The deeper and darker that the roux gets, not only will it thicken, but it will add flavor and depth to the sauce. And I'm feeling like I wanna go dark in here, but not super bitter and dark. So I'm just waiting for the roux to turn a little bit more brown. And then I'm going to add the chile sauce. I need to season my sauce with the roux before I add the broth. So it's all these layering of flavors that it's gonna make your carne con chile be the best carne con chile ever. It will not have any blandness to it. So let it cook these for just 1 minute. You want it bubbling, you want it changing color. Now I'm adding the 4 cups of caldo de res. And then we're going to mix this. And now as this simmers, I'm gonna quickly shred my meat. I'm just removing the extra fat. You wanted the fat for seasoning, but now you just want the meat. If you notice, I shredded in like big bite-sized chunks because you want that mixture to not be just a paste. You want the bites of meat, because now the meat is gonna cook in here. Look at that. It's starting to change its colors on the surface. And I love this part of the process because it's like the sauce is talking to you and it's telling you, I'm changing my essence, I'm changing my flavors by mixing and cooking in here. You know that the carne con chile is ready, where the meat mixture is very moist and the sauce is very sticky and thick. And now I'm gonna make some refried beans. And I have here a pound of pinto beans that I cooked with just a piece of an onion, cover them with water, and cook them until they are very soft and tender. You add the salt in the end, because if not, it's gonna taste like nothing. I'm adding all of the beans. 2 cups of the cooking liquid of the beans. Colorado chiles. And we're adding a couple of chipotles in adobo. I'm gonna puree these, not until completely smooth. I still want them with some texture because frijoles refritos should have some texture. And you can already see the really pretty color. In order to make them true refrieds, they have to fry with some fat and thicken. So I'm adding about 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Once they thicken a little bit more, in 1 or 2 minutes, I'm gonna add the cheese. Now let's talk about the cheese. You could use anything that melts that has flavor. So you could use Oaxaca, you could use asadero, quesadilla, you could use Munster. Here I have a combination of Oaxaca and quesadilla. It's 1.5 cups of shredded cheese. Now this mixture is gonna mix so much to the point that you can't tell that the cheese is there, but it's there. Chuchu, remember how many times I tried to make the coyotas and just couldn't get it right?
Yeah.
I think I finally nailed it. We have a pound of piloncillo that I already chiseled. I want to show you. Since the piloncillo is hard, you chisel it like this.
Yeah.
This
it's
is
really hard.
It is.
Yeah.
It took me a little while. Add that in here. We have 2 tablespoons of flour. I know you washed your hands really well. You're gonna mix that with your hands. This is the filling of the coyota. Le vamos a echar flour a tu rolling pin. With these balls of dough, we wanna do like a little flat tortilla of about 1/8 of an inch. And then I just use a 5-inch ring mold. So if you wanna help me with all those 22 that remain, okay? And then I'm adding 2 tablespoons of this mixture.
Okay.
And then topping 1 tortilla with the other one. I go around with a fork. They make like a little hole at the top for the coyota to breathe and caramel to ooze out. You have flour on your face. Oh! We have the oven at 375. They're gonna be there for about 20 to 22 minutes. Now we're gonna make burritos. Okay, how do you know when the refried beans are ready?
When you can see the trail.
Yeah, we have the large flour tortillas. In Sonora, the refried beans go on the side. Do you want to break the rules? I'm not. Do you?
I'm gonna break them.
Of course you want. Okay. Carne con chile right in here. See, the beans are talking to us. Can you hear the bubbles talking? Queso fresco on top. Quasi.
It's so good.
I'm out of words,
Mine is
Chuchu.
definitely better. The frijoles inside it makes it so good.
I really like chasing the burrito with the beans outside, because then I get like the different tastes and textures.
This is probably the best burrito I've ever had.
What does it smell like to you?
It smells like caramel.
A ver, nos partimos. So crunchy.
It looks nice.
So the piloncillo has like melted throughout the inside and stuck to the walls.
Oh, so good.
It's flaky, it's crispy. It's like the perfect treat. Like it's so reminiscent of everything you find in Sonora. Oh, you wanna not get in mine? This just takes it like...
Yeah, next level.